What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers recently worked out Ron Holland, and I am pumped for him, right? So, for those that aren't aware, for those that don't know, he played for the G League Ignite. He is 18 years old. He is incredibly young. He is a very talented, versatile, sizable wing, small forward, power forward, 6'8", got a good wingspan, play multiple positions, can defend multiple positions, a legit two-way guy. This is a guy that, if I'm being honest, I would be very surprised if he's there at 17, right? He was number 2 in the 2023 class, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was number 2. He's a guy that had a lot of hype and a lot of just anticipation coming out that was looked at as bare minimum a top 5 lottery pick. He's kind of slid a little bit based on reports and stuff, but I'm pretty confident somebody takes a flyer on him. I don't see him necessarily slipping to 17. Maybe the Lakers are looking to, maybe trade up, or, maybe they're just like, hey, in case he does fall in that area, then great, let's go snatch him up, let's go get him. He is a guy that, coming out of the G League, averaged 19.5 points per game. Again, he can do pretty much everything, right? He's 18, so again, he's raw. He's going to need some development. But he can make plays, right? He can kind of be your point forward if you need to. He can rebound. He can hit shots pretty much anywhere on the court. He can defend, right? He's got athleticism. He's got youth. He's got everything that checks off the Lakers and what the Lakers need. He averaged 19.5 points and 6.7 rebounds, as well as 3.1 assists with the G League Ignite. And he is very impressive. Now, look, I know a lot of people want the Lakers to draft a center. I know a lot of people are like, hey, if Zach Edey, if whoever, if Ron is there, you take him. Like, no questions asked, right? I haven't even thought of Ron or really mentioned Ron because I don't see him falling to 17. Again, this would be like a Cam Whitmore situation, but even better, in my opinion. But if he's there, if he does fall to 17, I don't care if Edey, I don't care if Ware, I don't care if Holmes, I don't care who is available. You take him because he is everything that is the modern NBA. He has incredible upside. He's incredibly, you literally could develop him the next 5 years and he would be 23, right? The guy, he has all, everything that you want for a potential bare minimum, just legit two-way wing in this league. He is all of it, right? I think at worst, he could potentially be a Jaden McDaniels type, right? Long, versatile, can defend multiple positions, just be a hound on the defense side, right? And the conversation for best on-ball defender in the league. I'm not saying right out the gate. I'm not saying he's going to come in year one, rookie, and, drop 20 points and, defend, Anthony Edwards in the playoffs or anything like that. But talking about a guy come in, I do believe could help now. I think he does have the tools. He does have some of the intangibles that you're looking for and that you want to see from just a young talent. But he, for me, is more of he's a guy that, he's one of the guys that you could look back on and go, he was the best player in the draft. He just has those tools and those intangibles, right? Again, I've talked about many draft picks, and I'm going to talk about many more as we inch closer to the NBA draft. And, I know many of you want me to talk about this guy, that guy, and the other, which, again, leave your comments down in the comments. Love to kind of go over stuff, right? We're really kind of powering through this. But he wasn't even on my radar just because I don't believe he's necessarily going to be there at 17. But if for whatever reason he is, and he can be, I'm all for it. But again, like I said, he averaged, break down the numbers here, but he averaged 3 turnovers a game, which isn't great. A steal, 2.5 steals, a block, 0.7 blocks, but we'll round up. So a block, 2.5 steals per game, 3.2 assists, 6.6 rebounds. He shot 75.7% from the foul line, which is a good sign, right? Because usually you're like, okay, can a guy translate? How will they look? Just shooting the basketball on NBA level. Usually look at the free throws because that kind of gives you a feel, okay, the mechanics are good. Things that you want to see are well. And that was on 5 attempts per game. So he's a guy, again, is good at just using his size, his length, athleticism, kind of finishing and finishing strong through contact. He's also good at generating and creating contact, which is something, again, you want to see. 3-point percentage was 24% from 3-point range, but he is a guy that is really hot and cold at times. He has all the mechanics. He has all the tools. He has everything that you want to see in that regard. And I do believe he will eventually translate to being a quality 3-point shooter. Right? He has those tools. A lot of rookies come in and are, 30%, 25% from 3, 28% from 3, whatever. And then, a year or two in. Like I said, this isn't a guy that I'm expecting to come in, shoot 40% from 3, drop 20 a game. Like, this isn't a guy I'm expecting to just take over and be the Lakers' clear-cut third guy. But this is a guy that I do think, again, has the tools and intangibles to really help the Lakers now, and is very likely going to be a huge piece for the future. Right? I think Max Christie, Maxwell Lewis, Jalen Hood-Schifino, if he's here, I know a lot of people are like, he's a bust. That I don't really buy that. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm not saying he's going to be good. I don't know. Right? You talk about a guy that was tearing up the G League, which, again, was a rookie. I know it's the G League, but he was a rookie, right? And just never got an opportunity on the actual NBA roster. So I don't know how you can really judge somebody based on basically no playing time outside of like garbage minutes, which his job is basically just to kind of kill clock and jack up shots, right? There's no real structure. There's no actual NBA. He's not running sets and plays and all that stuff. Because again, you're just trying to get through the quarter. I just don't know how you can judge a rookie year one when he doesn't really get an opportunity to play. But I also think that they're going to end up trading Jalen Hood-Schifino. I think that they also trade the 17th pick, which is why another reason I don't want to get my hopes up on Ron, even if he falls. But man, like, if they trade the 17th pick, I'm okay with that. I do believe that that's most likely the case. I do believe that that's most likely what's going to happen. But like, if Ron is still on the board and they end up trading that pick, that's going to hurt. I'm not going to lie. I'm feel like, dang. Like, because he's a guy that I'm actually high on. Again, I just think he's going to be a top 10 pick at worst, maybe top 12 to 15. But I don't see him necessarily falling to the 17th. But again, we'll see. Time will tell. But he shot 44.3% from the field total. And again, averaged basically 20 points. So again, more so, I think he's a guy that can come in and help tremendously on the defensive side of things. But I just really like his size and his versatility. I think he's a guy that just, again, has all the athleticism, all the tools. So, like, a guy that I was really high on that I wanted the Lakers to take with 17 that I talked about was Maxwell Lewis. I mean, I have a video on this channel diving into Maxwell Lewis because I was like, man, this is a guy that I think can potentially get to where you want to be. He was obviously a little older, but he was a guy that was like, you take this guy with 17. The Lakers ended up drafting him with the second round pick and took Jalen Hood-Schifino, which was a little surprising. But again, nonetheless, got a guy in Maxwell Lewis, which again, good size, good athleticism, good versatility. I like that. This is a guy that, again, I am really high on. But he, unlike Maxwell Lewis, where Maxwell Lewis, I was like, he's probably, you're looking at the 17 to basically where the Lakers draft him, right? He's in that range. This is a guy that I think is a top 10 talent. Right. Again, this was a guy that was coming in to this year as like a consensus, like he's probably a top 3 to 5 pick. Right. And if he falls to 17, it's no brainer. You go grab him. And it's not like Cam Whitmore in the sense of like Cam Whitmore had injury and character concerns. Right. So it was it made sense why he fell. It made sense why he dropped. Like this guy, it's just, they're just like, it's kind of like a big man. Like everyone's like, these 3 big men. And then you got several like, overseas players, European players, stuff like that. So it's kind of like he's just, and there's like this influx of like, this, European player is going to be the next big guy, Topic and guys like that, which again, they very well could be. But this was a guy that, again, going in was like, that's the guy. This is the guy. If he, for whatever reason, falls to 17, you got to take him. You got to take him. Because again, I like, you could be talking about like Max Christie, Maxwell Lewis, and then Ron Holland as like your 2, 3, and 4. And I would be stoked about that. Because I think all 3 of those guys have a world of potential and all could be legit two-way guys in this league. right? At that point, you're just looking for, your point guard, which again, maybe it's Jalen Uchifino, maybe it's somebody else. They draft somebody, whatever, or trade for, say, a Trae Young or something like that, right? Again, I know a lot of people don't want him, just using him as an example. Let's say you get Trae, right? Like, even post Anthony Davis, you could have Trae, Max Christie, Maxwell Lewis, Ron Holland, and then, maybe it's, I don't know, Colin Castleton or something like that. Or maybe you go get, maybe Jackson Hayes at that point has developed into a real center or something. But I'm excited for this workout. I didn't even think the Lakers would necessarily work him out. Because again, he been kind of the consensus, like, hey, he's going to be a top 10 pick, top 15 pick at worst. So I just didn't think he dropped to him. But I like that the Lakers, one, are finally starting to work out guys like Zach Edey, Ron, like starting to work out guys that are potential for the 17th pick, something that they weren't doing up until this point. And two, just kind of doing due diligence just in case. It's like, hey, because again, if there's talks about him falling to like the 15 range, if he falls to 15 range, you're only 2 picks away. It very well could happen. Maybe even like throw in a second round pick or something like that to kind of trade up, go from 17, 15 or something, pick him up. That'd be huge. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Are you excited for Ron? You think like, yeah, that's a guy, you got to go get him? Do you think no? Like, you got to get a big man, Zach Edey, whomever. Again, I think at 17, you got to take the best player available. And you're talking about a guy that, again, could be potentially a lottery pick. If you're somebody in the camp that's like, the Lakers should have drafted Cam Whitmore, then you should be in the camp of like, the Lakers need to draft Ron Holland. Just saying. Those are my thoughts. Again, pass it on to you. Agree? Do you disagree? Somewhere between. How you feel? Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.